Episode number 247 with Stephen Daniel.
I got X-ray specs for eyes. I can see right through you. I can
Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Stevie B.
And Dan G.
Dan G. How you been? You haven't driven off with any gas pumps lately, have you?
No, my ninja, I haven't. But you know, it's kind of funny because I did go back to that gas station. Now they have a fine there that's $1,000. So
It's called the Garcia Find.
yeah, I think they put it there just for me.
Yeah.
But apparently, and this is kind of from the other shows, everybody knows I drove off with a gas pump attached to my car.
Yeah. You've also done it with other items too. You like to treat your car like a shelf, right?
Apparently, I have a problem because I called a girlfriend of mine and just friend, I was like, hey, I told her about obviously the incident and she wasn't surprised about it at all.
No, not at all.
No, she's like, yeah, don't you remember that time we ordered that 40-inch pizza and then you put it on the top of your car and you drove to, back to the party and everybody's like, where's the pizza? And I'm like, oh shit, it's on the freeway.
It's now a part of the 405.
Yeah, not a part of the 405 freeway. So that actually gets worse because as I was speaking with her, I started looking over and I'm looking at my, one of those Yeti water, that I use for the gym, like an overpriced, water cooler, obviously,
Yeah.
like
It's
price.
$45 for some type of utensil.
Yeah,
that just
$50
holds
with
water.
tax, Steve. $50 with tax. Comes out to like $49.89.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have like a small one and a big one, of course. So I've basically spent $100 on like water bottles for like I could have got one for like literally $3.99 at Big Five, right?
Yeah. It would still do the same thing.
Yeah, they're just like aluminum, and I don't know, they just have a nice design to them. So that's worth spending the extra money, I guess. But anyways, I'm looking over at them, and they're like dented, and then I'm reminding myself, I'm like, oh my god, I drove off with those in my car. So apparently I have a serious problem. I'm probably not the only one out there, but if anybody knows of any support groups or anything, just let me know.
Yeah. For treating your car as a coffee table or an end table.
Pretty much, man. I evidently had this problem for a while and didn't know. I drive off. If you want, I drive off with anything: like mugs, pizza, gas pumps. Yeah, I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm really good at the coffee, though. I mean, actually, now that I think about it in hindsight, there's so many times I've driven off with like a cup of coffee. You know what I mean?
Yes, I have done that at work. I actually left a coffee on the fire truck, and we got a call, and then a lady came to the fire station and gave me the cup back. It fell off on like Fifth Street. Just ding, ding, ding.
Was it like porcelain or was it just?
No, it was a plastic one that the city had given to me when I had like 5 years on or something like that. I had that thing forever.
They give you a coffee mug after 5 years? How about
it was
a bonus?
something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean it was all of $7 or whatever it was.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
10 years, a thermos.
At 15 years, I got a little pen or a pin. You'd see a president with like an American flag pin to his suit. Well, they gave us a little 15-year pin. I had my 20-year came and gone, and I didn't get anything.
Oh, God, just give away your age to everybody. Jeez.
Yeah.
And your date of birth is what,
Date
Steve?
of birth as well. Social. Go ahead. Don't forget. Don't leave out the social.
Yeah. Shout it out there. I'm a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
I'm looking down, not up. Wow, that's pretty terrible. Sorry to say, man, but that's like, wow. That's the show of appreciation, I guess, for city work.
Yeah, for a government job there. Yeah.
That's what you get for security of pins and thermos mugs and stuff. Great.
We got a couple of shout outs.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I really appreciate anything. Jeez, even
Yeah.
if you hate us.
More than a pin.
Yeah. Your shout out's worth more than a pin to me, everybody.
Yes, more than a plastic coffee cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says from Dave Curtis, says Steve, great shows lately. He's picking up the Relentless book by Tim
awesome,
Grover.
man. Yeah.
So that was cool. So that
Yeah,
was,
that's a great book. And awesome. You get a lot out of that book, Actually, the biggest thing I got out of that book was one of the quotes in there was kind of cool. It's like, because it really talks about stress and pressure, and I think one of the cool thing was, at least for me, it was, if you don't really feel pressure kind of during your day, they were basically saying, then nobody really believes in you. So if you're not putting pressure on yourself, or other people aren't putting pressure on you and doing whatever it is that you do, you should have pressure, because that actually means that someone actually believes in you. So it makes a lot of sense. So there's a lot of really good things out of that book. A lot of it's related to sports, but it's it comes back to real life stuff, obviously. So
yeah. It I one thing I liked about it is, like, when he would come out with a list, instead of listing 13 items 1 through 13, he would list them all number 1. And he said subconsciously, if you list number 1, 2, 3, 4, you subconsciously put the first one up at the top, and by the time you get down to 3, it's kind of 50-50 whether you'll even get to it or not. He said, but if you label every single one number 1, it in your mind makes it they're all equal priority. And so I write down my goals continuously, and so
this
I
could
started
be like
doing
a daily list, Steve, because that's what I do. I have like a little, carry around. I just do old school, like notepad, little
Me
mini
too.
guy, and write it down. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually forgot about that. And that was really good, because they're all equally as important and should be, is the point, right?
Yeah. And I do that for my annual goals now too, is I just list them all number 1. I may only accomplish 2 or 3 out of 4 or 5, but
they're all number 1.
Yes, before I was putting them in order, and it was almost like I couldn't move on to the next one until that one got completed.
Right.
And,
it's something in your head.
Yeah.
You know what? It's true. Well, I think after I read that book, I stopped even putting numbers on there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just looked at my pad, and I realized I don't have any numbers anymore.
That's cool.
So it's kind of the same but different, right?
Yeah, same but different.
Maybe the the number 1 is significant or something. Maybe I should put 1. I don't know, but I'm doing it. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
in
book.
it.
Good book. We're going to talk about another book later on in this show. It's called The New Great Depression.
That
pretty
book literally.
good. I like it.
No, that book was really good, Steve. It was so good, it kind of scared the shit out of me a little bit.
It was, yeah. Oh, we got another shout out. Andrew Moki. He says, awesome episode, Steve. He loved the one with Randall.
Great, Andrew.
Says, dude, I'd love to hear more about the fundamentals on evaluating trades. I'd love to take Randall's course, but it'd be a significant amount of my trading bankroll.
Well, it was for us as well.
Yeah, and we had to pay more than you guys will. We paid $5,000 2 years ago, so you guys get it for $4,000 today. Any tips on basics evaluating? It's honestly a lot of it I wouldn't even know how to teach, because he sets you up with the whole program. You know what I mean? Like, he inputs all the values and everything, and then basically hands you the software, and he's like, okay, now do what we taught you over the last 2 days, and it becomes very, very easy.
Yeah, and I have to make a quick point, to Andrew's shout out. I actually looked for the information before we even took the course, and Googles, and does anybody else? Because I really didn't want to pay that much money for it, to be perfectly honest. But I don't know where you can find that information. But I wasn't able to locate anything like it.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know if it's proprietary, but it's good, and it works, and it's something you'll have with you for life. I couldn't see myself trading or evaluating stocks without it.
I can't either. I can't believe
I don't even
man.
I think before taking that course, I was pretty much an idiot.
Yeah. And I would never, ever, ever buy a stock without looking at the graph on what he taught us. Like, I would just never do that again, ever.
Yeah.
I remember buying them before without even looking at any kind of graph. And Wow.
Yeah,
Such a
yeah.
mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I wasn't I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed before that.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. So that was
Yeah.
cool. Thank you guys for the shout outs. Shane Waters, you as
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah. Absolutely.
we'd appreciate it if you guys could help us out. If you guys like the show, rate and review it 5 stars on iTunes. That'll bump us up the search list and make it more likely to attract more people. Since changing the name of the show, we're getting a new and exciting audience. It's cool to see it grow a little bit each week, and we'd love to see the ratings grow right along with that. So that would help us out a lot if you could rate and review, and we'll read it on the air.
Yeah, that really does help out as well. Like anything you guys could do out there, even if you don't like us, hey, we'll take anything. Dateless and desperate for reviews.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I learned too when changing the show is like a couple of the artworks haven't, this goes out to iTunes and Stitcher and 15 other avenues where you guys are listening to this. And if your avenue that you've listened to it, maybe the artwork hasn't updated or the show description or something, I think we've gotten them all. But I found a few that, and my editor found a few that we hadn't. So we've had to manually go in and update those instead of, automatically populating it. So if something like that comes up, hit me up, stevebartonmoney@gmail.com or on Twitter or on Facebook, however.
Just any way you can help us, please help. Like starving children in Africa.
Exactly. Starving children in Africa that don't have the strength to bat the flies away.
Yeah, that's right. With a pot belly.
Yeah. Any ideas for guests? We'd love to hear them. I mean, that's how we've gotten probably half our guests on the shows from
Yeah,
suggestions, so.
that was we got a couple really great guests. So if you guys know somebody, anybody, help, that'd be always a great help. We're always entertaining that. That's just awesome,
Yeah, yeah. And
I kind of miss Rob, I'm not gonna lie.
Rob was a really good one. We gotta have him.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah, we got to. It was a great vacation rentals. How he did things, but yeah, just this cool guy. I kind of want to go hang out with him, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of do too. Well, we're both going on vacation here shortly. You're gonna be. Probably the next episode you'll be in.
Okay. We can do this is a precursor to another show. So we're
a little teaser. A teaser.
Okay, teaser, not a taser. A teaser.
teaser. Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna. Well, I'll let you, Steve. Go ahead.
Oh well, you're going down to the Book, right?
Oh, the Book. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't know about the Book?
Yeah. I had to ask, and I've been to this country and I didn't know where it was. So Buka what?
Yeah. Buka who?
Oh,
Buka your mama?
You're going down to Colombia.
Yeah. I'm going down to Colombia.
Yep.
I've been there a few times. Been a lot of places, but I'm going to be going to Bucaramanga. So we're going to be doing a travel. Anybody's just, I know it's kind of cool. Just anybody who's, just interested in just the inner workings, how much things are and costs and places to see and do. And I think a lot of people are actually scared of Colombia, but, a lot of things have changed over the last, 10, 20 years, Pablo Escobar is not going to kill you. So
no, he's dead. Long dead.
Yeah. So him and his Colombian snow.
Yeah.
Which is still pretty rampant down there, but it's it's pretty, no, it's a I gotta be honest, Colombia is a very safe. I mean, I feel very safe there. I mean, just as long as you don't go, a few hours out of town and it's 1:00 at night and you're drunk, just don't do stuff like that, right?
Simple common sense stuff.
Yeah, but that's kind of anywhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you and I really wanted to get our asses kicked down in Los Angeles, we could find a place to do it in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, just drive down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same in Colombia. There's good areas and there's bad areas. I think they've just gotten kind of the short end of the stick with the Escobar shadow looming over them 20 years later. It's kind of.
Yeah, and if you go, don't ask about Pablo Escobar. They kind of don't like that.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, where's Pablo's house that he grew up in? We'll just take the damn tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's actually kind of a sore spot, because, I think it's just, a lot of Colombians, they don't like, I would be the same way, they don't want to be associated, with that, the past,
Yeah. I did take a Pablo Escobar little tour, I guess, from one of his guys that used to work with him. That's a taxi driver now.
Oh
was-
yeah, that's his. No, he is Hitman. He has Pablo Escobar. His Hitman gives tours in Medellin.
Okay, I took one from a guy that was a taxi cab driver.
Oh.
He said that he used to run the drugs for him, and they'd load up like an Impala, and he would pay every border crossing all the way through Central
Yeah.
America, drop it off in L.A., and then come back with all the cash. And it was interesting. He said that Pablo, he didn't really like to drink. He smoked a lot of weed, but any of his guys that used cocaine, he would off them. He didn't
Wow.
want any Colombians using cocaine. He wanted all that to go to the U.S.
Well, yeah, it sounds like the Chinese now.
Right?
They're the ones that sells all the fentanyl.
Yeah.
They just drive it through Mexico now.
Yeah. Just a different avenue of
Yeah, the
entry.
CCP's trying to kill us off, everybody. So yeah, no, but it's a safe place. I mean, I've been there many times, and yeah, I mean, it's really inexpensive, and it's a great. There's a lot of things to see, beautiful beaches, and there's just a lot of culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be going to Bucaramanga, which is it's kind of a Venezuela. It'll be in the Andes Mountains area.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a really cool thing there. Well, we can talk about that in the other show as well. Is they have like it's the same as the Grand Canyon, So they have there's in the Andes Mountains, there's some areas there, Chicamocha and stuff. So we can touch on some of that stuff, or if anybody wants to know any information, be happy to tell.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be going to Nicaragua and Nicaragua,
Which is kind of strange because you don't surf, Steve.
No, I don't. No,
You're going to like San Juan del Sur, which is like kind of a surfing.
like one of the number one surfing spots.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's
Central
like
America.
That's like one of my destinies because I surf, so I'm like, I know about that.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, it's like San Juan's like a really great little surfer town and stuff. So maybe you should take up surfing.
I could try. Maybe I'll rent a longboard or something. I've done it before. I can stand up on a longboard, but I'm not one of those guys that can get a 6'3" board and just carve. No, that's not me.
I can.
I know you can.
I'm actually an undercover, really good surfer. I don't know why I'm
I've seen
undercover
the pictures.
about it.
I've never seen you in action, but I've seen the pictures, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Oh yeah, I can completely get tubed and bottom turn. I can ride any board, longboard, shortboard, anything. Yeah, I've been doing it since I was a kid, but then I just stopped because, well, long story real short, I moved to Australia.
Okay.
And we're at warm water, and then Hawaii. I just lived in all these warm water places. Then by the time I made it back to America, I'm like, God damn, this water is cold.
Oh, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, basically, I'm like, yo, this is not fun anymore. I don't like dressing up in a blubber suit and like heading out there. It's very restrictive, So yeah, I just got spoiled over a period of time, so I just stopped my surfing. So
That's what we call a first world problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
hashtag yeah.
Yep.
First world problems. Yeah, it's too cold.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of first, how's Chacho the vampire dog doing? We threw out that picture of him on Facebook with the sombrero. He had a little too much.
Yeah, he's been living on donuts and chocolate for 19 years, so he's still going strong.
He's still going strong. Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know how much time I got left with him. I just maybe another year. I don't know how long this thing's gonna live. It's like 19. It looks like it's 7. It's like Benjamin Button of dogs. It's weird. You're like, oh, I love your puppy. I'm like, dude, he's like on borrowed time.
You could do a taxidermy route.
Oh, you might be. Yeah, maybe when people come in and they can, kind of pet the dummy dog. I mean, well, you kind of experienced with like taxidermy dogs, Steve. I mean, you.
Oh yeah, in my line of work,
you visited a lot of homes in your time.
Yeah, every day we get every 24-hour shift we probably get 10 calls, and these are to 7 out of 10 of them are to go to people's homes to solve some type of problem, whether it's a garage fire or their grandma fell down. And so you get to walk into a lot of different people's homes. Over the course of 2 decades of my career, I've probably seen thousands.
Talking about from low income to high income.
Yeah, I mean multi-millionaires to six family members sharing a 1-bedroom apartment, right?
Yeah.
So you get to see all spectrums.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen several of those taxidermied dogs. You know, you walk in and then there's just a giant Great
Great
Dane or Doberman Pinscher just like by the fireplace, and you're, you know, there's the half-second heart attack that you get, like, oh my God, that's a huge dog, to,
Yeah.
oh, it's stuffed.
So this is like a thing. Like people really they really taxidermy their animals and they put them by the mantle.
It's a real thing. Yeah, it seems to be in a certain.
Is it like a demographic though? Like,
oh,
is there
there's a
certain
definite demographic pattern that I've put together over the decades. Yeah.
Wow, this is some
Yeah.
inner working stuff. I mean, this is right there with the engravers of toilet seats. Okay, cool.
I think I would put probably rich white, 60 years old and
60 plus,
60 plus.
Caucasian,
Caucasian,
male or
yes.
female, or does it matter?
Damn, I'm trying to remember. It probably doesn't matter. I don't know.
I mean, married couples usually.
Oh yeah.
Usually,
And kind of odd dogs too, you know, like
mix, like a
little Shih Tzus, and, you know, like the Great Dane that I was talking about, and the Doberman, you know, kind of like in a stance of like he's almost 2 pointy ears up, you know, just like laying perfectly, like ready to strike or something, you know. It's
I remember him when he used to eat people.
yeah.
We tore that little baby apart.
It's a real thing, yeah.
Wow. So this is, I mean, I just really had no idea about, you know, I knew people did it, but you obviously have real world experience with this.
Yeah, so we could do the same with Chacho. You know, we could put him out maybe out front under your little, kind of on your porch there, with maybe like a Mexican sombrero hat.
That would work.
The Mexican sombrero dog.
Yeah. You know, I could have him for eternity.
Yeah, you know, you have those creepy glass eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't, I don't know how other people would feel about it though.
Maybe we could somehow get 2 of them, you know, like 3D printing or some shit.
Oh,
like
and
on
then I
either
could put
side
'em-
of the door.
It will, instead of the lions, when you walk up, I could have 2 chachos.
Dos Chachos, yes.
Dos chachos with
Dos
sombreros.
Chachos, yeah.
Yeah.
Dos
really messed
Chachos and
up.
dos sombreros.
He's listening to us, by the way, Steve.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. His ears perked up. I can't talk about this too much longer. He's
Okay.
gonna get weird.
Start running around and clicking his nails on the
Yeah, he thinks he's gonna get taxidermied now. I don't know. Oh, poor guy. He's good. He's cool.
Right on. I went to I had some guilt-free shopping the other day.
Oh wow, that's always good. So you didn't go to Trader Joe's, obviously,
No, I did not.
or
I
Whole
did not.
Foods,
Yeah,
or I'm
yeah.
sorry, I call it Whole Paycheck now.
Whole paycheck, yeah. No, I realized, I was like, oh, I don't have my Birkenstocks with my knee-high socks,
Oh man.
and so I can't go into Trader Joe's.
Oh, you need a hip pack there, dude.
I know. I needed at least a fanny pack or
Yeah.
some type of like tie-dye shirt. I had none of these. I was just wearing regular clothes.
You can't walk into the places like that with you know, a high carbon print, Steve. You already know that.
No, you cannot. Definitely not. So I went to the local ethnic store, and
Yeah.
they said, "¿Quieres una bolsa?" You know, do you want a bag? And I was waiting for the glares and the stares to make me feel like I was.
Because you didn't bring your bags.
I didn't bring my own
obviously.
bags. No. But they proceeded to like double bag things that didn't really need bagging at all. You know?
A head of lettuce with like 2 bags.
Yeah.
High carbon print.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
this stuff would never happen at Whole Paycheck.
Oh yeah, or the you know, the gallon jug of juice that already has a handle on it.
Oh yeah.
You know, that gets 2 plastic bags and possibly even a third one because it's heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you
It's
still
already got
buy
the
those,
handle.
by the way? That's like, we call those are hood. That's hood drink, man.
Hood drink, yeah. Sorry.
That's hood juice.
hood juice, yes.
That's hood
Yeah.
juice, like the bright green, yellow, like, you know, that's like food for the ghetto right there, man. I'm all about that.
And you call the drink by the color that it is. So when you offer it to someone, you offer it as
You want orange
purple.
drink?
Yeah, you want orange? Or you want purple? You want purple? Yeah.
I'm laughing because it's true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You offer the drink by
For all
whatever
you,
color it
for
is.
all the people out there like in Australia or like England or something, they don't know about the hood juice. Maybe there's another. Like I lived in Australia, so I didn't really see any hood juice out there.
Okay.
I don't know what would be the equivalent.
I'm not
Kangaroo
sure.
milk. I don't know.
I don't know, but it definitely exists here in America.
Yeah, it's a hood thing.
It's a hood thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's,
You want some? You want some red drink?
yeah.
I got some great purple. Ooh.
Yes. I remember going to my buddy Antoine's house, and the first time I must have been like 6 years old. And
Yeah.
then he got all excited when his mom was like, "Antoine, you want some purple?" And he's like, "Yeah, Ma." And I'm like, "What's purple?" And he's like, "You don't know what purple is?" I'm like,
Oh
"Well,
man,
the
you
color."
crazy?
Like, I don't understand.
You don't know about that purple drink, Steve.
So he gives
Ah.
me some purple, and I'm like, "Oh, you mean grape juice?" And he's like, "Yeah, purple." I'm like,
Purple
"It's
ain't grape.
I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And if you're lucky, you come next week. We got orange.
yeah, we got orange. Sunny Delight.
Yes. Oh man, Sunny Delight was like gangbusters, man. That was like
Tang.
yeah,
Remember
Tang.
Tang?
Oh man, dude, you were giving away your age on that stuff, man. Oh my god, it's like type 2 diabetes fucking in action. Yeah, man, that's some good stuff, right? Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I had the Sunny Delight growing up. I got that. Did they even sell that stuff anymore?
They shouldn't. It should be
Tang.
illegal.
Oh my god, wasn't that like powder stuff?
Yeah, it was that orange powder you put in
God.
water.
It's
and
like
then
that's
just-
right there with like Choco Mix.
Yeah, exactly.
it's like what was that powdered like plastic? Like I don't think that was cocoa. I think that was like black number 4 or some weird chemical shit.
Oh, great.
Man, like hey, you know what? I survived.
Yeah.
couldn't be any worse, you know. Now you got people going to prison asking for organic food, so there you go.
Yeah, getting sex change operations.
Yeah. Hey, I know one of those. Calm down.
Really? Not in prison.
No, I
Okay.
actually, I told you. I don't know if you maybe said, but yeah, I got a. It's a friend of mine, but it's more of my friend's friend. Yeah, he's in the process of. I mean, I haven't talked to him ever since this all went happen, but he's going through the process.
Oh, you told me this about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
I was like, who, what, where, huh? I was like, yeah, it's very awkward when, it's just awkward, as guys, and, my friend calls me, he's like, hey, our friend, I don't want to give his names out.
Yeah. Were you guys on like the football team together or something? Or?
Well, no, we partied, hung out. It's like, we'd all like group of guys. Yeah, he had a girlfriend, and
Okay.
we all, just hang out. Every once in a while. I'd just be like, hey, is so and so coming? Okay, cool, yeah, and yeah, like 5-6 years later, here we are, and he's like, he came out to my friend, and my friend calls me. He's like, hey, yeah, so and so decided to be a girl. Yeah, and he's just going through the process, So I just, just for me, it's kind of hard because I want to, be cool, like to hang out, but like, what do you do? It's like, well, what kind of bar are we going to?
I think it'd
it's
be
just-
interesting. I would like. Has he had any surgeries yet, or is he?
Well, he's taking the hormones. He's getting he has all the like. I mean, I don't
But
know
you
the
haven't
inner
seen him
workings.
since this started. You've just heard.
No. Well, I've seen pictures, and I'm almost.
But
a
you
little
haven't
more.
seen him.
I haven't seen him since this happened. And as a matter of fact, he wanted to hang out with my friend, and I was going to hang out with him that weekend. But I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for all that right now.
Huh, okay.
Heavy. I don't know.
Yeah, that would. I guess maybe it'd be easy for me because I don't know him.
Yeah, well,
But
maybe you should go hang out with her, or him, or I don't even know. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know what to call him. I'm like,
I call him a girl from here on out. That must be what.
is that what it is? Because I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to be dressing up like one.
He's gonna be putting on dresses, bro. You got to call him a girl.
And he's going bald, so he has to wear a wig now, and like,
Oh,
yeah.
Have
So
you seen the South Park Mr. Garrison?
no.
When he gets the sex change operation.
Well, this is right there with it. I'm sure.
Okay.
I mean, this guy has to shave his arm hair. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is all new for me. It's
That
just new.
is a commitment.
No, it's a commitment. He's taking the hormones, the pills, dressing up, like the whole deal. I'm just
Wow.
like, hey. Hey,
right.
no, hey, it's all good. I support it. I just, it's just kind of weird when you know somebody and you're like, well, how am I supposed to, it's hard to be completely normal. You know what I mean? That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and supposedly he still likes women. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Really?
I'm like, hey, so we all going to lesbian bar? I'm like, I'm kind of okay with that. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, why not? At least there's chicks there, So I don't know if he's a lesbian stuck in a man's body, I guess. I don't know, man. You know what? We're gonna bring him on the show.
We should. Yes.
You know what? Might as well. Maybe that'll be a good way to me, like, I don't know. I just, like I said,
Is he
I have more
local
questions
up in
than
Santa
answers.
Barbara, or is this guy like in?
No. He's Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Los
All right. So
Angeles.
he's
He's
not
probably
Massachusetts.
listening to the show. Sorry, bro. I mean, dudette. I don't know.
Sorry, girl.
Oh yeah, sorry, girl. So, anyways, no, I'll support, all love. I just, I said, I'm just trying to be supportive.
Yeah. We're looking at some lately. The stocks this last week or so have kind of been taking a little bit of a dip, and we've been kind of looking for some other. We're in some. I feel very good about the ones that we're in right now, especially with the dividends that we've got. At this point, I think it's just a hold and let these things go for years, let them ferment and start compounding, and let them go. The ones that we got in and we talked about it, like Coca-Cola.
You're making it sound like kombucha, Steve.
Kombucha.
You're like, we gotta let them ferment.
Yeah, ferment. Yes.
Yeah, you've been at Trader
Kombucha,
Joe's
kombucha.
too long, bro.
But we're this book that we're going to talk about here, The New Great Depression. Some of the things that I think have been thoughts that have spurred off of that have been like, okay, the next thing is probably going to be self-driving cars, electric cars,
Yeah.
Uber type services that do not need a human. And so how can you capitalize on that as an investor? Maybe Randall spurred the idea because he was saying that if we are moving to like solar power, start researching and finding out what elements and what raw materials you need to make these solar panels, and you'll probably find that there's only a few places in the world that offer these, and if you can get into companies that are mining them, it can be very profitable. And so we're looking at these for EVs, for electric vehicles, and they all have to have batteries. They all got to have certain computer chips and stuff, but with the batteries, as far as making them, they got to have cobalt, they got to have lithium, they got to have manganese, nickel, and graphite.
Yep.
And when you start really delving into these, you can
There's
see
not a whole lot of companies.
No, I mean, like there's only a few places in the world where some of these are available.
Yeah, especially cobalt. Like that's a very precious, it's a precious mineral. Republic of Congo.
Yeah.
is that's like the biggest place. But there's some companies. Glencore has some mining there. Glencore's out of Australia, pretty big mining company. But yeah, there's just not a whole lot of places. There's a lot of political unrest in a lot of those places that also, just as an investor, obviously, if you're looking to dive into that, anything that's, owned through the state or country that owns you got to be a little bit careful with that stuff. So I would say, it's always good. And we're still doing our research as well. So we're going to have a lot more information on that in some coming up episodes. But, staying with some of the, main companies, I guess, like structured, well-maintained companies that, aren't going to give any funny accounting.
I'm kind of excited for that. I'd like to see, there's got to be some opportunities in there. I think, this is probably somewhere between a year and a half to a 4-year bet or something, but if you pick one of the good ones, I think it could be extremely profitable.
Yeah. And they seem, when they shoot, they really shoot up, they're like, 500,000 to that. I mean, you can get some huge gains if you're able to pick a few winners out of those.
Yeah. So the book, The New Great Depression, should we call it the book of the week?
Yeah, book of the week. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it was a good book. I mean, if you guys want to get scared about stuff a little bit and, maybe cause you to, rearrange your portfolio, you should definitely read it.
Yeah, the author's name is James Rickards. He's been in the business for a long time. He was an advisor to Nixon when they went away from the gold standard.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
he's been, I mean, probably has forgotten more about stocks than we'll ever know.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to his whole perspective is basically that we have with this pandemic, what's our country and the world has gone through several pandemics, but we've never gone through a pandemic where we've locked stuff down and just shut down the economy for months at a time.
Oh, a
And
year almost.
yeah,
You
and
know?
this has
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah.
So I mean, just like in my town here and you up in Santa Barbara, Daniel, like when you walk down some of the business districts, there's maybe anywhere from a third to half of the small businesses that have closed and are not reopening.
They're not coming back.
And the stock market has certainly not reflected that since the COVID drop. In
Right.
fact, it's been the opposite. And his argument is that reality is there, but perception is not caught up with reality yet.
Right.
And these prices are inflated, and they're not reflecting what's actually going on. And he said that some of his predictions are that there's going to be strong deflation or disinflation, which basically means that it may be going up relative to zero, but it's if normal inflation rate is 2%, then he's saying it'll probably be half or 1%. So it won't be going up as much. He said that stocks have not hit their bottom, and at a time now when we're recording this at the end of February 2021, the Dow is 31 or 32,000, and his models predict that it'll be down to 16,000 by the end of the year. So that's half of where it is now. And the same with the S&P 500. The S&P just dropped below, it's around 3,800 after Friday, and he's predicting that by the end of the year it'll be around 1,750.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that it really it made me restructure a few things, put some contingencies kind of in place. I think the book has a really good argument. It does do a little, he does talk about, the last, four, outbreaks, and three was a really interesting point. 3 out of the 4 all had a second wave. So basically we have a
so
75.
the last 4 pandemics, 3 of them have had a second and a third wave that have been more deadly than the first one.
Right. And that's that basically we have a 25% chance of things, that not happening, but a 75% chance of, hey, there's a really good chance we could get a second wave if the vaccine doesn't, cure these mutations or anything, and, come around towards the end of the year and we get a second wave, and anything happens, we're shutting things down for any reason again, we're really in trouble.
Yeah.
So as the economy goes, so just a little food for thought, and I thought it had some really great perspective, a good argument. It even talks about the Virology Institute in Wuhan and the bats, and what are the so it just gives a documentation of all that as well. So I believe it's pretty objective as well. So yeah, it goes through a lot, talks about gold, treasury, things that you can do to help offset things and without being one of those crazy gold people. Right.
Yeah. It's definitely caused me in the last couple of weeks to reallocate my retirement portfolios to be slightly more conservative, and moving a little bit more into cash, moving some into like treasury notes, but still keeping some in the market, but kind of reallocating them to what he suggests.
Just things that'll ride out the storm. Things that you would be happy riding out a storm with.
Yeah.
I think is a good way to do, because I definitely sold a good amount of things that I thought couldn't hold up if things take a pretty good dip, or aren't going to recover as well, to just reallocating into things that will.
Yeah. He also says, stocks have not hit bottom. He says, of the stocks, the equities that you get, you should focus on over the next couple of years, natural resources, mining, commodities, energy, water, agriculture, and defense. And he said these are going to do well in bear markets, where a bear market is where it goes down, and they'll typically outperform in bull markets. Bull markets are where they go up. And then he goes on to describe of why he thinks those will do better. And he says, generally speaking, in a depressed economy, things like gold and natural resources and water and things that can't really go away. Everyone's going to need electricity. Those kind of things are going to go up, and people are going to spend less money on things like, extracurricular stuff. Going to
vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like where we're going.
Yes. He says that the stocks, the reality hasn't caught up with the perception. And one thing I learned from this book, and Randall taught us it too, was that 90% of the trading that's going on in the market is done by robots. And essentially
Right.
what Randall does is he teaches you how the robots trade and to trade slightly ahead of them, and that's what this guy's saying, is that the robots haven't caught up to what's really going on with the economy. It's simply reading graphs and using predictive models and going on that, but not looking at financial statements one of the real estate companies that we were in, Daniel, I looked up, and they had an enormous amount of commercial real estate in like these high-rise office buildings. And so I called their biggest one and talked to the girl at the front desk, and I was just like, yeah, what's your guys' occupancy right now? And she said, oh, it's about 10%. I'm like, holy shit.
We're just holding the whole thing up with a pitchfork.
Yeah, with a pitchfork, and the termites are holding hands right now. I'm like, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to sell that in the morning. I don't think that's sustainable.
Yeah, let's see how long we can lie to people
Yeah,
for.
let's see how long this lasts. All right.
Yeah, just tell them this. Yeah. The lie of the day.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I, so generally got out of things like that. But wow. And that was another good thing he had a point in the book was he said, commercial real estate's going to continue to go down, probably till the end of the year, maybe late 2021, early 2022. You might have some attractive commercial real estate options. But he mentioned,
and that's just evidence, Steve. I mean, you go anywhere in the big cities right now. I've been to a few, and it's like there's some serious vacancy.
yeah, big time.
For lease, I think it was actually really interesting. I was actually going through Beverly Hills, and yeah, a lot of all Beverly Hills, that's, obviously higher in, real estate and just commercial areas, and just, I would say 1 in every 8 places, big, I would just see, just, for lease, just a lot of for lease stuff, just like that's everywhere in the big city though, not just like Beverly Hills, of course, but it was just, I was like, well, if it's happening here, geez, and it's everywhere, it's everywhere, you got, a lot of things closing down.
Yeah. And
or just restructuring, reshuffling, I guess,
He goes into the percentages too of the type of business and the percentage of the businesses that have been able to keep up with their lease. And it's like hair salons, 19%, restaurants, 22%. So that means everyone else has not kept up with their rent. So someone's taken that in the shorts, right?
Yeah.
That's not sustainable.
I don't think we've seen the worst of it. I definitely there's corrections coming, and things, we can't just spend our way out of it, right?
I agree. Yeah. That's another one of his points too. Was he said that the COVID recovery is going to be much slower and weaker than people think, and that unemployment will remain near 10% for the next several years.
Wow.
So if he's right, this is going to be a long road. a very long, especially if there's another second and third wave. You know.
But again, nobody's trying to scare anybody here.
No, I'm just saying that,
No gloom and doom. We're just
if you're one of the guys that have your retirement account and you're just like, yeah, I just clicked the 100% aggressive one, you might want to start balancing it a little bit more. That's all.
I
I'm
want
saying.
to take that out of GameStop.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
Do what you want, but yeah, it might be time to take your foot off the gas here for just a little bit.
Just a little while, just like a little, yeah.
Just listen to the book and tell us what you think. But it was definitely a stop and ponder for me. You know.
Yeah. Well, he throws out a lot of statistics. Definitely did a lot of research for this. I was pretty impressed, with the arguments that he had for it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a little bit scared after reading it. I kind of wanted to go out and buy a little gold myself, which I'm about to do. But these are just small things. I mean, this isn't, again, not being the crazy gold guy, like the government's after you and you got to go like stock up in gold and join a militia or anything,
Well, yeah. Okay. So that was something too. He said that his prediction is that gold will go significantly higher in between now and this book just came out the middle of January. So it's like a month old. He said that gold will go significantly higher, and his reasoning behind that was that with all these government bailouts and everything, that typically spurs panic buying, and people the more that people lose faith in the American or in the economy, the more apt they are to buy gold or silver. And he said that could drive it up. Another thing that could drive it up, they have gold ETFs. I believe there's 15 of them that actually hold physical amounts of gold, and they trade on the market as an ETF, holding physical gold. If any one of those doesn't actually have as much gold as they're saying that they do, and that goes out, then having physical gold is going to skyrocket because people lose faith in those ETFs.
Right.
He predicts that gold, I just checked this morning, and gold was at $1,735 an ounce.
Well, I think he was saying also that he predicted it'd be going down before it went up.
Yeah. So it's basically trying to, I guess, time somewhat the bottom right around now. It's around $1,735. You do have to pay a little VIG when you go down to one of these coin stores and get gold.
And it's better, Steve. Maybe a good point to mention is if you are, buying gold or, I have silver, but because I actually asked you, I was like, hey, well, maybe I should buy some silver too, Steve. And you're like, nah, you don't want to do that right now, and because you were just there, and you were saying that the rate on silver is much higher than gold right now. If you just go into like a coin place or whatever and try to purchase some physical silver.
Yeah, it's the rake on gold was about 4%, and the rake on silver was I don't know, it's really fucking high. It was $27 an ounce, and it cost you $5 to $8 an ounce extra to pay the house, to pay the coin guy. So a lot cheaper to do gold, but it's much more expensive to get an ounce. Right now it's $1,735. You'll probably end up paying $1,800 out the door for that ounce. But what if Mr. Rickards is correct, and he lays out a lot of things that would definitely, I think it's a nice hedge to have some gold.
Just part of the portfolio,
Yeah, it's the same principle as like just having a Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily how much you pay to get it, but if you can get it during this time period, 3 to 5 years from now, it's likely to be worth a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's his bet. As he said, basically, 5 years from now, he said it should be around 10,000, could be as high as 14,000 an ounce. If
you probably have it so long you forget about it anyways.
Probably, so this is a set it and forget it. This is a buy and hold. It's not like we're going to sell this 3 months from now. No, you're hanging on to this for years. It's not like Coca-Cola where it pays you a dividend to hold it. You're just It's like a Google, like a growth stock. You're just like,
Yeah,
well, this is what
there's
I got.
no yield. There's no yield on gold.
No, no.
Oh. But when it goes up, I mean, it goes up. They tend to jump pretty. When they do. I mean, you could be holding on to these things for 5 years, and all of a sudden, boom. So.
See, that's the thing is I remember as a kid when the housing market took a dump in the early 90s. I remember my parents lost on a rental property. I remember the gold price skyrocketed. And then it happened again in 2007, 2008, when the economy was in the dumps. Gold was basically an inverse graph of that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like an inverse. But, I think a lot of people just shy away from it.
And I'm seeing the same thing now with one of the guys at work as a real estate agent. He listed a house for $675 and it sold for $725 on like the first day. So people are just paying more than what they're listed for, at least in this area.
Vegas too.
Vegas too, yeah. We looked into that, and it a lot of people moving from San Diego out to Vegas.
You can't even go to the DMV because there's too many Californians out in Vegas now.
Yeah. So gold. Yeah. I think that could be an interesting play.
Just make it part of your portfolio, just not 50%. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. He recommends the allocations that he recommends are 30% cash, 10% gold, 20% residential real estate, 20% treasury notes, 10% equities, and 10% alternatives. So like with the gold, 10% of investable assets is what these percentages is he's recommending. You could, if you want to do it the easy way, just buy the gold ETF. The ticker is GLD. It's relatively low right now compared to what it's been over the last few months. So I don't know. I think it's worth a bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And worst case scenario, like the last time, you could just be stuck in this stuff for 10 or 15 years, until it gets back up to this point again. But, over the course of 20 to 30 years, it's extremely unlikely that this will be a bad bet. The hope is that it's a great bet 4 to 5 years from now, and he's saying historically, it could be up as much as 700%. So
yeah, I think he predicted somewhere I think he predicted somewhere upwards of 7 to 10,000 or something over the next 10 years or something.
Yeah. He said 10 to 14,000 by 2026.
Yeah.
So 5 years from now, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
He said interest rates will fall further. Kind of tough to go below 0.25%, but he thinks that they will go lower. Bonds, he thinks will rally. What else? Residential real estate, he said, could be an attractive opportunity in certain areas. So probably not a great area where you and I are located.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it to, hit the fan for quite some time, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. He says, like new houses in attractive towns with low taxes and good schools. He mentioned a couple of states, Arizona, Texas, and Florida, the Pacific Northwest, the Rocky Mountains. And he also said residential real estate in a zero personal income tax state, Washington, Wyoming, Tennessee, and New Hampshire could be good opportunities. So basically his logic behind that was that, a lot of people have realized that they don't have to work in the giant office building, and employers have realized this too, is they're like, Jesus, we don't even have to pay for all this office space because these people can do this at home in their laptops. And we're saving a boatload of money having them do that, because we don't need these skyscrapers anymore, like the stock that we sold, right?
Yeah. San Francisco's a good, good.
Yeah. Right. So people are generally migrating out of New York City and kind of getting into the suburbs, and generally migrating out of LA and San Diego and these big high density population areas, and scooting out, kind of spreading themselves out a little more, as the social bubble has gotten bigger, the social distancing bubble has increased. People are naturally moving their homes and their families into places that reflect that. So it seemed like a good argument to me.
Yeah, no, it is. It has some great, like, it's a really good argument. A lot of good statistics in there. I think a lot of people just get a lot of. It's not. I think it's about a 6 hour Audible.
Yeah, yeah, 4, 6, something like. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably
So
more
yeah,
than
just a
4,
lot of
less
good
than 6.
information in there. I think for just just for people to know and some contingency planning.
Yeah. He said the dollar is going to be strong in the short term and then weaker by 2022. And he said oil will surprise to the upside. And his logic behind that was that with
Well, it did crash.
oil did?
Well, yeah, in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, but since then it's just
Oh, it's
skyrocketed.
been
I mean, remember this book only came out a month ago,
right.
so it's fairly. I mean, it's pretty damn recent.
Yeah.
But we've made a lot of money on oil since the crash.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just, but I mean it's still there's still a lot of room there.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it a lot.
So check it out.
Yeah, his playbook that he recommends. He says update continually with the rolling 6-month horizon. So, like a caveat he threw in there with the cash. He's like, that's 30% cash allocation. May only last a couple of months, or it could last a year and a half. He said the neat thing about cash and having 30% of your investable assets in that is it's the ultimate call option on anything in the world. So you can literally buy anything with cash. You know, it costs you something to get gold and then go and transact and put it in. You're paying a little vig each time. With cash that doesn't exist. You can put a call on anything in the world. So he said, don't look at the 30% cash as like, start with it now. But if you see opportunities that come up in any one of those sectors that he mentioned, don't be afraid to fire if you think the time is right. He said diversify across all asset classes, not within one asset class, so don't just have everything in energy,
Duh.
Yeah. get insider information as long as you do it legally.
Double bunny air quotes.
Yes. Martha Stewart hashtag.
Yeah, exactly. Martha Stewart. Yeah. Or were those ones when they came out of Congress and they happened to, like, what was that Congress? It was a Congresswoman. Yeah, the Congresswoman. Was it Loeffler, I think, that she bought, like, they had that meeting at Congress and then all of a sudden she sold all her stuff, like, right before the pandemic. I'm like, oh, geez, you got insider information on that.
How did you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Use market timing to beat the crowd. Front run the robots. They're not that smart. Own the perception gap. Reality always wins in the end. And then he says, at last and not least, be nimble. So be nimble and able to strike when the iron's hot. Yeah. So that I thought it was a good book.
Yep.
I liked it a lot. But we got one guy that signed up for Randall's program so far, Alex. And so he's going to learn to front run the robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get a call from him pretty soon.
Yes. Right on. Cool. Well, do you have anything else, Daniel?
No, I think we've kind of covered a lot. I think the next upcoming shows are going to be pretty cool. Got a lot of stuff, in the works. We're working on, getting some cool guests and interesting topics with financial focus, but I'd like to throw you guys some curveballs here and there. So yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. Going to be sounding off from Bucaramanga hopefully next week, and we'll see how that goes. And hopefully I come back alive, and who knows, I could come back with like new boobs and a butt.
I was going to say, you're going to get the ass implants, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm going to be like the new and improved Caitlyn Jenner, man.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
See, look at me.
See, after this, we won't be self-conscious about going out with your friend.
You know what? Then I'll be able to hang out with them.
Yeah. You guys could compare boob jobs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's had one yet, but you never know. It could be.
Okay, no judgment.
Yeah. This is a judge-free zone.
Yes.
So yeah. We'll see what happens with that. You might not want to hang out with me when I get back, Steve.
Oh, I might.
Yeah. You're like, well, I mean, your tits look great.
He does have really nice tits.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's really great tits.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting any tits. But the ass thing, I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, good deal. Right on. Cool. Well, thank you, Daniel. This was fun.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening. Thank you for telling a friend, and thank you for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
Or we must begin to look at what are the things that we can do that would put us on some firm footing in life, that will enable us to do some things and use some powers that we have, that many of us go through life never ever discovering that we have those things going for us. And part of that, I believe, is knowing what it is your life worth. What is it that gives your life a sense of meaning and purpose? Because once you find that, it puts you in your power place.
We all have times of frustration. We all have times of anger. We all have times of why me? Why is this so hard for me? But at the end of the day, guys, when you start feeling that massive frustration, that massive anger, that massive irritation and massive stress, you are about to have a breakthrough. You are about to move through an area that most people can't make it through. And you just gotta keep moving.
The only way to deal with fear that I found in my life is a couple ways. One of those ways is to turn it on itself and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? If I'm afraid of that, I gotta be more afraid of what I'm gonna miss out on, missing out on my mission, missing out on who I'm supposed to be. In other words, if you're not gonna get rid of fear, then use fear. Use fear or it uses you. It's that simple.
The war has begun, and it's between you and you. There ain't nobody else in your way.
Because you are different. You will never give up on your dream. You will not listen to the average. You will always listen to the winner in you. Believe in yourself when no one else does. Believe in yourself when you have no reason to believe. And you will never quit.
I invested too much to quit. I made too many sacrifices to give up. We've come too far. We've been through too much. We've seen too much. We've had too many victories. We've seen defeat. We've looked defeat in the face, and we've overcome it. We've come too far to give up. We've come too far to be negative now. We've come too far to start overthinking.
All I need you to do is speak up and say, I expect to win. Declare that it's over. That yesterday was the last day that you were a loser. Like yesterday was the last day you expected to come up short.